and welcome back to this episode of Formula Debrief. We are Paige and Savannah, and today we have a very special guest from our Black Excellence series that we've got going on. So I guess the first question that we sort of have to you is, can you introduce yourself?
So my name's Jahee, and I'm a motorsport engineer. I have my own engineering consultancy, which is Wavy Dynamics. And we specialize in aerodynamics, vehicle dynamics, and engineering design.
So what does that sort of mean that you do day-to-day life and what your actual role is?
So the journeys I'm trying to, or the avenues I'm trying to reinforce and kind of carve out for myself are to work with motorsport teams trackside, to kind of do race engineering, performance engineering, and just generally work with them on the technical side of a race weekend to make sure that the car and driver are working well together, the car's performing well for the conditions, and that kind of side of things. And as well as that, there's the more office-based side of the business. So working with motorsport teams as well as automotive clients who are who are working on projects to develop cars, develop chassis, and just need a bit of specialist advice in certain areas such as vehicle dynamics and aerodynamics and component design.
Would you say that being Black yourself affects your sort of role in motorsports? Do you sort of recognise it as something that in day-to-day life that you sort of face issues, or maybe not issues, but you're very aware of?
I guess for me, I see it on two levels. There's like kind of going to events, you're very aware that, do you guys know about the MIA, for example?
No, I don't.
It's like an industry association that there's lots of motorsport engineering suppliers, like companies who make components, and even race teams, Formula One teams. They're all it's an association that they're all members of, and they hold events to showcase latest developments of technologies and just generally act as a kind of a body to pull everyone together. And so I've been to a few of their events, so it's kind of the people that attend are motorsport professionals in whatever capacity. And you're just aware that you're very unusual in those spaces, like people are very curious, like, oh, who are you, basically. Like I didn't no one was ever directly rude to me or anything like that, but I was just aware that there was a difference and they were seeing it. So there's that kind of aspect. It's a kind of thing where you never really know how people, like, how it is affecting you. Like, are people not having conversations or certain conversations with you because of that? Or are you are you not being brought into the circle in the same way that someone else would? So there's that aspect of it. But I'm also, since I've been working in the space, it's also become quite clear that there's like I don't want to say like a club, because that's not quite the right word, but it's a really small world, and it's kind of like if you're not within that circle, it's very hard to kind of come into it. So it's kind of like an invisible barrier, perhaps. So for example, like I would call myself an aerodynamicist. This is one of the things I do, versus someone who is already established in the industry. I would perhaps not, we wouldn't be seen on the same standing, if you know what I mean. So I don't have access to the same network and contacts and that kind of thing. But that's perhaps less an issue of skin color, but more an issue of like a socio-economic thing. Because I live in London. I was born in London. I've lived kind of down south, well away from the motorsport, the motorsport valley there, so it's called. So I never made those. Yeah, I never went to a university that has strong links with the motorsport world, so I was started very much from the outside, and people that kind of go to the right unis and end up in the right graduate roles, they kind of quickly become, you know, part of the crew. So yeah, those are the two levels that I would say it's been difficult, or it's been, there have been things that I've had to overcome that others might not have.